Okay, so next we have our coconut panna cotta. We have all our ingredients in front of me here. So here we have our coconut milk, it's around about 14% fat. We have our starch, our sweeteners, and our flavourings.
And obviously this is a really interesting product, isn't it, Anne? Because it's vegetal, it's vegan, it's dairy free, it ticks all those really important boxes at the moment. Touching the first ingredient is the starch, obviously. Yes. It's a very specific starch. What is it doing and how does it benefit the product?
Yeah, so this one is really the strategic ingredient because today in the classic panna cotta you can use gelatin, but also carrageenan, and it is additive. And today the customer is asking to have a clean labeling. So today we need to remove this additive, and this starch is really giving, so it's a co-texturized starch, and it gives really this set texture. It's really difficult, it's a challenge generally when we are reformulating, and here, so we will put, and Glyn is putting in the milk actually. It is 5% in the recipe, so yes, it's quite a lot finally, but really it's necessary in order to give this set texture. Yeah,
and obviously from a culinary point of view, Glyn, you know, there is a worry when you're starting to use starches and new raw materials in products which have got quite traditional textures and, you know, almost bites to them. But I understand that we've found that this has actually been pretty good in the products.
Yeah, I think the beauty of this recipe as well is that you're not using gelatin, so you're using ingredients which are clever, you know, and it kind of almost from a chef perspective, and that's great. You know, it's just something new that you've never used before. So, and it still gives you that lovely kind of panna cotta texture that you'd associate with gelatin or the carrageenan. You want that kind of wobble, that kind of nice, soft, creamy, silky texture.
No, that's brilliant. And obviously the other part of this is that there is no free simple sugar in here. You know, we've got a lot of clever things going on. We've got, you know, rice extracts, we've got aromas, and we've got stevia. Do you want to talk through us with that, Anne? Yeah,
so here's no simple sugar. So we tick all the boxes of the trains, and no sugar reduction, about vegetal, no additive. And here, so the big key is to have another bulking agent. So we will use this rice extract, but we have a large range. We can have oat, we can have wheat, we have a large one, organic and classical. And here, so it will replace for simple sugar, saccharose. And in order to boost this sweetness, we use agave syrup. You know that it is more sweetness than sucrose. And at the end, the third element, it is this stevia flavor. So you see it's a really small amount finally, but we can dilute in water in order to have an easy way on process. So these three products, so the flavoring at the end, really give and balance and tasty product with a more sweetness at the end. And finally, I think, and we will test how it works, but it works well.
Yeah, and I guess obviously, Glyn, you know, we've been working with these kind of sugar replacements and flavourings, and they're really clever, aren't they? You know, the vanilla here really gives that perception of sweetness, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think that's the beauty of this recipe, that you've got something that is low sugar, it still gives that kind of mouthfeel and flavour. Of a full-blown kind of sweetened panna cotta.
And I guess obviously it's so interesting that we have these innovations within starch now, that we haven't got to use, like you say, carrageenans, you know, or other gums, that we actually finally remove those, and we have those innovations within starch. But this is obviously this is a coconut panna cotta, but we do have
oat also.
Alternatives, don't we? Yeah, oat milks and these sorts of things, which are really interesting, that you have those alternatives within your product pipeline.
Sure. We can have different. As you remember, the webinar on oat drink, we can do by ourselves, but we have also solution with concentrate in order to integrate easily in recipes. So we have a lot of tools in order to fit all the trends that we have every day with our customer.
And again, this is another product which really ticks all those boxes with HFSS and obviously Nutri-Score, which is more primarily in the European countries. But,
for sure. So it helped a lot.
Yeah, great. So I guess, Glyn, this is pretty much there now?
Yeah, this is reached temperature. So we've taken it to about 90 degrees and it's kind of simmered, boiled for about a minute. And then what I'm going to do is transfer that into our little moulds. So these are little dariole moulds that we'll use to set the panna cotta in.
And you can use some other shape and in silicone mold or all the industrial one. Absolutely. It works.
It's very versatile, and this recipe does work really well.
And I also understand that,
so it's quite loose.
Yeah, that later on we're going to be seeing a bit more of the aquafaba as well that we've seen.
Yeah, we'll have a few nice little garnishes just to finish off the panna cotta, which you'll see later.
Great.
So as you can see, this is the viscosity of this is quite loose, but obviously if you leave that to set for 4 to 6 hours, or preferably overnight, and in the fridge, and you should end up with a lovely sort of soft panna cotta.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the final product, Glyn, and I'll see you in a minute.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have our final coconut panna cotta here. It's been set in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours, or preferably overnight. As you can see, it has, if I gently move that a little bit, you can see it's got a lovely little wobble to it, nice and soft and creamy and silky, which you'd associate with good panna cotta. And then what I'm going to do is garnish that with a mango salsa with a little bit of chili, lime and mint, a little bit of syrup through there, fresh mint and some vegan meringues, and a little bit of no lactose chocolate.
And obviously, again, we see the aquafaba being used in another application.
Yeah, another application, but finally, really easily we whip this aquafaba like some other recipe. Sugar, and after you put, how many times you put, Glyn, this aquafaba meringue in the oven?
Oh, so that was about, for that size, it was about like half an hour on 130 degrees Celsius, or if they're bigger, obviously 1 to 2 hours.
So we see really nice shape and really crusty, we will see. And after, for the chocolate, so one of our supplier is doing this type of prototype of no lactose chocolate,
really,
and it tastes really good, and you see that the behavior is nice. But we can do also oat chocolate. We have a lot of solution in order to do also this kind of no lactose vegetal chocolate. So a lot of solution in order to do vegetal recipe like this.
No, it looks amazing. Like something that you could easily find in a restaurant. Glyn, I'm really looking forward to trying this.
Well, it's all ready for you to try.
One thing I think we noticed with the aquafaba meringues is that they seem almost lighter than a regular meringue, the aquafaba.
So we really see this set texture. Looks really good.
That's amazing. It's really creamy. You don't have that kind of watery, or you're not missing the gums or the gelatin at all in this. It's lovely.
It's a clean flavour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really clean flavour. Yeah. Glyn, again, thank you very much, and thank you very much.
No problem.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.